Hello, Mark. My name is Joy. My student number is S04411015, and I'm a freshman. I'm going to read a speech titled How We Can Eat Our Landscape by Warhurst. The will to live life differently can start in some of the most unusual places. This is where I come from, Todmorden. It's a market town in the north of England. 15,000 people between Leeds and Manchester. Fairly normal market town. It used to look like this, and now it sounds more like this, with fruit and veg and herbs sprouting up all over the place. We call it propaganda gardening. Laughter. Corner road railway. Station car park. Front of a health center. People's front gardens, and even in the front of the police station. Laughter. We got edible canal, towpath, and we got sprouting cemetery. The soil is extremely good. Laughter. We're even inventing a new form of tourism. It's called vegetable tourism, and believe it or not, people come from all over the world to poke around in our raised bed, even when there's not much growing. Laughter. But it starts a conversation. Laughter. And you know, we are not doing it because we are bored. Laughter. We're not doing it because we want to start a revolution. We try to answer this simple question. Can you find a unifying language that cuts across age and income and culture that will help people themselves find a new way of living, see space around them differently, think about the resources they use differently, interact differently? Can we find that language? And then, can we replicate those actions? And the answer would appear to be yes, and the language would appear to be food. So, 3.5 years ago, a few of us sat around a kitchen table, and we just invented the whole thing. Laughter, applause. We came up with a really simple game plan that we put to a public meeting. We did not consult. We did not write a report. Enough of all that laughter, and we said to that public meeting in Todmorden, look, let's imagine that our town is focused around 3 play. A community play, the way we live our everyday life. A learning play, what we teach our kids in school, and what new skill we share among ourselves. And business, what we do with the pound in our pocket, and which business we choose to support. Now, let's imagine those play agitated with community action around food. If we start one of those community plays spinning, that's really great. Let's really start to empower people. But if we can then spin that community play with the learning play, and then spin it with the business play, we got a real shot there. We got some action theater. We are starting to build resilience ourselves. We're starting to reinvent community ourselves, and we're doing it without a flipping strategy document. Applause. And here's the thing as well. We not ask everybody's permission to do this. We are just doing it. Laughter. And we are certainly not waiting for the chat to drop through the letterbox before we start. And most importantly of all, we are not daunted by the sophisticated argument that say these small actions are meaningless in the face of tomorrow's problems, because I have seen the power of small action. and it is awesome. So back to the public meeting, laughter. We put the proposition to the meeting, 2 seconds, and then the room exploded. I had never ever experienced anything like that in my life, and it's been the same in every single room, in every town that we ever told our story. People are ready and respond to the story of food. They want positive action they can engage in, and in their bone, they know it's time to take personal responsibility and invest in more kindness to each other and to the environment. And since we had that meeting 3.5 years ago, it's been a heck of roller coaster. We started with a six web, really simple stuff, and then we took an area of land, a street on the side of our main road, which was a dog toilet, basically. We turned it into a really lovely herb garden. We took the corner of the car park in the station that you saw, and we made vegetable beds for everybody to share and pick from themselves. We went to the doctors. We just had a £6 million health center building top modern, and for some reason that I cannot comprehend, it had been surrounded by prickly plants. Laughter. So we went to the doctor, said, "Would you mind us taking them up?" They say, Absolutely fine, provided you get planning permission and you do it in Latin and you do it in triplicate." So we did. Laughter. And now there are fruit trees and bush and herb and vegetable around the doctor's surgery. And there's been lots of other examples, like the corn that was in front of the police station, and the old people's home that we planted it with food that they can pick and grow. But it isn't just about growing, because we all are part of the jigsaw. It's about taking those artistic people in your community and doing some fabulous design in those raised beds to explain to people what's growing there, because there are so many people that don't really recognize a vegetable unless it's a bit of plastic with a bit of an instruction packet on the top. Laughter. So we had some people who design this thing. If it look like this, please don't pick it. But if it look like this, help yourself. This is about sharing and investing in kindness. And for those people that don't want to do either of those things, maybe they can cook. So we pick them seasonally and then we go on the street, or in a pub, or in a church, or wherever people are living their life. This is about us going to the people and saying, we are all part of the local food jigsaw. We are all part of a solution. And then, because we know we got vegetable theories, and we don't love them to bits, and they are absolutely fantastic, we saw, what could we do to give them an even better experience? So we invented, without asking, of course, the incredible edible green root. And this is a root of exhibition gardens, an edible towpath, and bee-friendly site, and a story of pollinator. And it's a route that we designed that take people through the whole of our town, past our cafe and our small shop, through our market, not just to and fro from the supermarket. And we are hoping that in changing people's footfall around our town, we are also changing their behavior. And then there's the second play, the learning play, where we are in partnership with a high school. We created a company. We are designing and building an aquaponic unit in something that was built in the back of the high school. like you do. And now we are going to be growing fish and vegetables in an orchard with bees. And the kids are helping us build that. And the kids are on the board. And because the community was really keen on working with the high school is now teaching agriculture. And because it's teaching agriculture, we started to think, how could we then get those kids that never had a qualification before in their life but are really excited about growing? How can we give them some more experience? So we got some land that was donated by a local garden center. It was really quite muddy, but in a truly incredible way, totally voluntary led. We had turned that into a market garden training center, and there's polytunnel and rice bed and all the things you need to get the soil under your finger, and think maybe there's a job in this for me in the future. And because we were doing that, some local academics say, we could help design a commercial horticulture course for you. There's not one that we know of, so they are doing that, and we are going to launch it later this year, and it's all an experiment, and it's all voluntary. And then there's the third play, because if you walk through an edible landscape, and if you are learning a new skill, and if you start to get interested in what's growing seasonally, you might just want to spend more of your own money in support of local producers. Not just that, but meat and cheese and beer and whatever else it might be. But then, we were just a community group, We are just all volunteers. What could we actually do? So we did some really simple things. We fundraised. We got some blackboard. We put incredible edible on the top. We gathered every market trader that was selling locally, and they subscribed on what they are selling in any 1 week. Really popular. People congregate around it. Sales were up. And then we had a chat with the farmer, and we said, we are really serious about this, but they didn't actually believe us. So we thought, okay, what should we do? I know, if we can create a campaign around one product and show them there is a local loyalty to that product, maybe they'll change their mind and see we are serious. So we launched a campaign because it just amused me. Called Every Ad Matters. Laughter. And what we did was we put people on our ad map. It's a stylized made of tech modern. Anybody that's selling their SS ad and the garden get perfectly legally to their neighbor. We start on there. We started with 4 and we now got 64 on, and the result of that was that people were then going into shop asking for a local top modern egg, and the result of that was some farmer upped the amount of flock they got of free-range bird, and then they went on to the meat bird, and although these are really, really small steps, the increasing local economic confidence is starting to play out in a number of ways, and we now have farmers doing cheese and let up their flock and real breed pigs. They are doing pastry and pie and things that they would have never done before. We got increasing markets still selling local food. And in a survey that local students did for us, 49% of all food traders in their town said that their bottom line had increased because of what we were actually doing, but we were just volunteers and it's only an experiment. Laughter. No, none of this is rocket science. It certainly is not clever, and it's not original, but it is joined up, and it is inclusive. This is not a movement for those people that are going to sort themselves out anyway. This is a movement for everyone. We had a motto: if you eat, you are in. Laughter, applause, across age, across income, across culture. It's been really quite a roller coaster experience. But going back to that first question that we asked, is it replicable? Yeah, it's most certainly is replicable. More than 30 towns in England now are spending the incredible edible play, whichever way they want to do it, of their own volition. They are trying to make their own life differently and worthwhile. We got community across America and Japan. It's incredible, isn't it? I mean, America and Japan and New Zealand. People after the earthquake in New Zealand visited us in order to incorporate some of this public spiritedness around local growing into the heart of Christchurch, and none of this takes more money and none of this demands a bureaucracy, but it does demand that you think things differently and you are prepared to bend budget and work program in order to create that supportive framework that community can bounce off. And there's some great ideas already in our patch. Our local authority has decided to make everywhere incredible edible, and in support of that, has decided to do two things. First, they are going to create a set register of spare them that they got, put it in a food bank so that community can use them wherever they live, and they are going to underpin that with a license. And then they say to every single one of their workforce, if you can, help those community grow and help them to maintain their spaces. Suddenly, we are seeing action on the ground from local government. We are seeing the mainstream. We are responding creatively and less to what real demand of us. And there's lots more you could do. I mean, just to list a few. 1. Please stop putting pretty plants around public buildings. It's a waste of space. Laughter. Secondly, please create edible landscapes so that our children start to walk past their foot day out. On our high street, in our park, wherever that might be. Inspire local planners to put the food sign in the heart of the town and the city plan, not relegate them to the edge of settlement that nobody can see. Encourage all our school to take this seriously. This isn't a second-class exercise. If we want to inspire the farmer of tomorrow, then please let us say to every school, create a sense of purpose around the importance to the environment, local food and soil. Put that in the heart of your school culture, and you will create a different generation. There are so many things you can do, but ultimately, this is about something really simple. Do an organic process. Do an increasing recognition of the power of small action. We are starting and less to believe in ourselves again and to believe in our capacity, each and every one of us, to build a different and kinder future. And in my book, that's incredible. Thank you. Applause. Applause. Thank you very much. Applause.